It was Christmas Eve and Sam sat in his car parked under a street light. In his neighborhood, he held his phone in his hand. Ryan's voice coming through loud and clear as he spoke. "Come on, son. It's just a road, $500 for an hour of driving. You'd be dumb to pass this up. It's not just a road, Ryan, everyone knows. Whispering Hollow is weird. People have seen stuff there. Ghost stories for kids. You're not scared, are you?" Sam clenched his jaw. The truth was he was scared, but he needed the money. His rent was overdue, and Christmas didn't bring much cheer when you couldn't afford a decent meal. "Fine, I'll do it. You better have the 500 ready when I'm back. Deal, don't chicken out." "Halfway," Sam Ryan said before hanging up. Sam tossed his phone onto the passenger seat and started the car. The heater struggled to warm the freezing air as he turned onto Whispering Hollow Road. The street lights ended abruptly, leaving only his car's weak headlights to cut through the darkness. The road was lined up with tall skeletal trees. The branches above formed a canopy, blocking out the stars and moon. Snowflakes drifted lazily down, covering the road in a thin, slippery layer a few miles into the drive. Sam started to relax. The road, despite its reputation, seemed normal. Just a long, empty road bordered by trees. The occasional gust of wind rattled the bare branches above. But nothing about the place felt particularly eerie. "This isn't too bad," he muttered to himself, keeping his eyes on the narrow road ahead. Sure, it was dark and quiet, but it was just a road as the minutes ticked by, though the drive began to feel monotonous. The trees all looked the same, and the road seemed to stretch endlessly into the night. The only sound was the hum of his car engine and the occasional crunch of snow under the tires. That's when he saw a young girl standing on the side of the road. She wore a pale dress far too thin for the freezing cold, and her shoulders shook as though she was crying. Sam slowed the car and rolled down his window. "Hey, are you okay? What are you doing out here alone?" Her face was pale, her eyes red from crying. "I live nearby. I hurt my leg and I can't walk home." Sam hesitated, glancing at the empty road ahead. "All right, get in. I'll give you a ride." She climbed into the car. Sam turned the heater up and started driving again. "What's your name?" he asked, trying to make a conversation. "Victoria Thompson. How old are you?" "Victoria, I'm 10, she said, staring straight ahead. Sam glanced at her. As they drove through the dark, silent road, something about the situation gnawed at him. "How did you hurt your leg, Victoria? And why are you out here all alone at this time?" he asked, in trying to keep his voice calm. Victoria didn't reply. She kept staring straight ahead, her face expressionless, as if she didn't even hear him. Sam shifted uncomfortably in his seat. The silence felt heavier now, but he decided not to push her. Maybe she was too upset or scared to talk, he thought, and he focused back on the road. They drove in silence for a while. The hum of the heater was the only sound. Sam couldn't shake the feeling that there was something strange about her, something he couldn't quite put his finger on. Her dress looked old, almost like something from a costume, and her pale hands rested stiffly in her lap. Unmoving, it made him uneasy, but he shook the thought away. After a few minutes, Victoria pointed to a narrow path disappearing into the woods. "Can you drop me off here? My house is just down the road. Are you sure it's really dark? I can walk down with you." "No," she said quickly. Almost too quickly. "It's fine. You don't need to. My house is just a little way down the path." Sam hesitated, her sudden urgency catching him off guard. "Are you sure?" he asked again, glancing at the shadowy trail ahead. "Yes. Thank you for the ride." Reluctantly, Sam nodded and watched as she opened the car door, stepping into the snow. She limped towards the dark trail without looking back, quickly disappearing into the shadows of the trees. Sam drove off after Victoria disappeared into the woods, shaking his head to push away the lingering unease. The road stretched ahead, silent and empty, but he couldn't stop glancing in the rearview mirror, however. Within a few minutes of driving, a nagging thought made him stop. He thought, what if she didn't make it home safely? It's Christmas Eve after all. With a frustrated sigh, Sam hit the brakes. He turned the car around and headed back, his headlights cutting through the dense woods until he reached the path where he had dropped her off. Grabbing his flashlight, Sam followed the narrow trail into the woods. Victoria. Are you okay, Victoria? Victoria, there was no answer. He walked further, and the woods opened to reveal an old, worn-down house. Its windows were shattered, and the roof sagged under the weight of snow. A rusted sign above the door read Thompson Family. Home. His flashlight beam swept across the ground and landed on something, a gravestone, Victoria Thompson, 1965 to 1975. How could she have been in the car? If she died almost 50 years ago, he pulled back in his car, jumped in and slammed the door shut. The engine roared to life and he sped down the road. Tonight, we remember the tragedy of Christmas Eve 1975. The Thompson family was found dead in their home. Their adopted daughter, Victoria Thompson, is believed to have brutally murdered them on Christmas Eve before vanishing. Mysteriously, weeks later, her body was discovered in the garden, her legs badly mutilated. She was buried near the family home. The mystery of Victoria Thompson remains unsolved. Some say her spirit still roams, whispering Hollow Road looking for her next victim. Stupid radio, why isn't not turning off? He jumped out and looked around, but there was nothing, no one. He was sure that he HD something or someone catching his breath. He climbed back in. What's happening to me? Am I hallucinating? I've been driving it for over an hour. The saint should be nearly done. Do you want to know how I hurt my leg when authorities found the vehicle? The next morning, the driver's seat was empty, only faint footprints in the snow. LED back towards the Thompson family home, like many others who dared to cross the whispering Hollow Road. Sam also never returned to see the daylight. Hi guys, hope you enjoyed the story. If you like it, please share with your family and friends, and I'll see you again with another creepy story. Until then, bye.